9 tips to make networking for introverted people profitable. Hey, do you feel like an introvert? Do you feel like when you get around crowds you kind of tighten up, you get all stressed out? I used to be there. I used to be the same way. Believe me, I know what it's like. I understand that scary feeling. You get dizzy, you just want to run out of the room. Well, in this video I'm going to share with you things that you can actually do to not only make you more comfortable, but maybe change you from being an introvert to an extrovert. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, click that big subscribe button down there, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell so that you are notified about every single time I go live or I upload a new video. So you know, and I know that meeting more people, networking with more people can always present more opportunities for you, but it's tough to do. It's tough to work a room. It's tough to be around people. I'm getting ready now to go to Las Vegas for Affiliate Summit West, and I'll be doing networking. I'll be around a lot of people, but I'm going to use a few of the skills that I'm going to teach you in this video to make connections, to make money, and to meet new people. So here we go. Okay, let's talk about the pregame. Okay, the pregame. The first thing you want to do is set your goals. What is your goal? I think a lot of times we get anxious and we get scared to talk to a lot of people because we don't have an end goal. What are we trying to do? If you're trying to go into a room and just introduce yourself and meet people, that's one thing, but it's another thing to try to go into a room and find people that are in the same niche as you and maybe make a business relationship. So decide up front, what is your goal? If you go to a room with no goal whatsoever, you're going to be heading in a whole lot of different directions and probably not accomplishing anything. So prior to getting there, set your goals. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get leads, business associates, or are you just trying to meet people? What is your goal? Number 2, lower your bacon score. What's your bacon score? Well, I don't know if you remember it, but years ago they said that there was only 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon and just about anybody. So what that is somebody knows somebody who knows somebody else who knows somebody else. It's been said that nowadays with the internet and with Zoom calls and networking and all that, that number has gone down to 3.57. I don't know if it's true or not, but by attending these things, by meeting new people, you can lower your bacon score. And what that means is you can be closer to people that you want to talk to by meeting more people around you. Number 3, dress up a little bit. Now, I don't personally like to dress up, not my thing, but I know one thing: when I dress up, when I wear a nice shirt, a coat, nice shoes, and guys, by the way, women are looking at your shoes. Check out your shoes. They got to look nice. Okay, but when you're wearing nice clothes, it has been associated with work. If you think about it, you know, a lot of people come home from work and they kick off their shoes and they take their tie off, or whatever the case may be, take their dress off and put their jammies on. That attire symbolizes work. You will tend to get more done if you're dressed for the part. Now, some people say, well, I don't want to overdress, JR, that'd be terrible. No, what's terrible is when you underdress. Okay, that's the bad feeling, when everybody's dressed up and you're not. If you're dressed up more than everybody else, that doesn't seem too bad, but when you're underdressed, that could be a real problem. That could cost you some relationships. Number 4, prepare for conversations. Prepare for conversations. Now, when you get to a room, here's the utmost truth: people care more about themselves than they do about you. They just do. A person who is a really good conversationist usually will ask really good questions. So if there's certain people in a room you want to meet, or certain types of people in a room you want to meet, prepare those questions. Know what those questions are in advance. When you ask people questions and they tell you about themselves, and you must act interested. Okay, if you act interested, they're going to automatically like you. People like people who act interested in them. That's just a fact. Now, if you can have some things that maybe are similar to them, you know, maybe you guys went to the same school or from the same state, or maybe you both, you know, live in a certain neighborhood or work for a certain company. Any association that's similar to a person will make somebody like you more. People like people who are like themselves. So the other thing I try to do is I try to rhythm a conversation based on how that person is acting. So if the person talks slow, moves slow, I'm probably going to talk slow and move slow. If they talk real fast and they move real fast, I'm probably going to talk real fast and move real fast too. By mirroring them, they will like you. They'll say, hey, here's somebody that's just like me. I like that person. It's all about location. So I've talked about going into big rooms of people or conferences or meetings, that type of thing, but Meeting people on a daily basis matters too. You never know, if you start up a conversation with somebody in a store or somebody in some business and you start to talk to them, what relation they may have. I know my wife is a dog trainer, and the other day I was talking to the person who's in charge of the HOA for our residents here, and I said to her, and while my wife was there, I said, do you have a dog? And she looked at me, kind of backed up. She goes, yes, I do. I have a rescue dog. I said, you got to check out my wife's channel. So you never know when you're talking to somebody if they have something that is going to click with you. So don't just think of this networking thing as always some big conference or some big meeting. Think of it as everyday life. When you talk to people, you're networking anytime you meet a stranger. Number two, we're all in this together. That's right, we're all in this together. What do I mean by that? We're very similar to everybody else. It's been proven that anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 of the population identifies as an introvert. Did you know that? So the people that you want to meet in that room probably are just as scared to meet you as you are to meet them. So what you need to do is kind of force yourself to introduce yourself. If you wait for everybody to come up to you, you're not going to meet near as many people. It's super important when you get in one of these rooms, walk around, introduce yourself, say hello. And I like to use the 5 4 3 2 1 thing that Mel Robbins talks about, and you can look up Mel Robbins. She has a great TEDx speech about her 5 4 3 2 1. But when you decide to do something, you start counting from 5 down. Never count up to 5, count 5 down. And when you get to 1, do that thing that you said you were going to do. Ask that person to dance. Go up and introduce yourself to some business associate. Walk up to somebody in a store and talk to them. Whatever it is you wanted to do, count from 5 down. Now why do I say 5 down? Because if you count from 1 up, you could just keep going, right? You could say, well, let me move it to 10, let me move it to 15, and pretty soon that person's gone. So it's always 5 down, 5 4 3 2 1, and do what you know you should do. Number 3, know when to recharge. The Pomodoro principle says you should work for 25 minutes and rest for 5 minutes. Work for 25 minutes and rest for 5 minutes. So you don't want to go into a room full of people and for 3 hours keep going up to people and talking. Okay, that can be exhausting for you. After 25 minutes, and you can set a timer on your watch or whatever you want to do, but after 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Go to the restroom, go get a drink, sit down and relax for a second, do whatever you want to do. Don't try to work a room for hours on end. That's exhausting for anybody. Number 4 are your conversation topics. What are you going to talk about? I like to have a little speech about what I do. Now I have several different businesses. I own a survival food company, and so I can talk to survivalists and people in that niche. I own another company called J.R. Fisher Training, and I teach people how to make money online and quit their jobs. And that's basically what I say to people. I teach people how to make money online and quit their jobs. A lot of people respond to that very well. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to see your channel, I got to see some of your stuff, because so many people want to quit their jobs. So I have those conversation starters, and you should always stick to what you know. Don't say you're a digital marketer if you're not. And I'm not saying just digital marketer. Don't say you're in anything if you're not. I was out to dinner the other night with somebody and they said they were a digital marketer. I was like, great, I'm a digital marketer too. Do you know this person or this person or this person? They're like, no. And I named some of the top people in digital marketing in the world, and this person didn't know any of them, never heard of them. So I knew at that instance they weren't a digital marketer, and I wanted to get them out of it. I wanted to somehow get them out of it. And they said, well, we deal mostly with businesses, which would have had nothing to do with it. And I said, well, yeah, I usually deal with the end consumer, so I kind of get how you wouldn't know any of those people. But the fact remains, don't say you're something you're not. Don't try to make yourself more impressive than what you are. I've sold millions and millions of dollars of products online, but I don't lead with that. I don't walk up to people and say, I sell millions and millions of dollars online. That's weird, right? It's just weird to do that, because there was a time that I sold $10 online, and I still remember that time, and I try to keep that humble level, and you should too. Now there was a time when the way you networked was actually hand them a business card, and I would say up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago I actually had business cards I would hand people, and I don't do it anymore. I don't do it because I can send my contact information to somebody. I can use a QR code and they can scan that and get all the information about me, and I think that's the best way to go about that now. So when you're conversing with people, have some pre-planned way of getting your information to them and you getting their information too. I would say use a QR code. Those work really well. so you could use one of those codes, but if you just want to send your contact information, you can do that too. The only problem with sending contacts is it may not work between, let's say, Apple and Android, so you may have to have a different kind of phone or whatever, but that's what I use a lot. I don't really give out my personal information that much. I'll give out my business information, which I can text somebody. I like texting people because I can get their name and I say, let me text this to you, what's your number? So now I've got their name and number, and I can text them whatever information it was, and I can store them in my phone, and I've just made a new contact for me too. Now after this is over with, after the event is over with, don't forget to follow up. Don't forget to follow up. Don't say to somebody, hey, we ought to have lunch one day, or we ought to get together sometime, or we need to share our experiences in advertising on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever, and then not do it. Don't do that. You got to do it. Okay, so you got to really follow up. If you don't plan on following up, don't tell people you're going to follow up. That's a huge mistake. Now if you do all of these things, even though you're an introvert, and keep in mind 1/3 to 1/2 of the population identifies as being an introvert, so you're just like everybody else, you're no different. But if you do all these things, you're going to make more contacts, you're going to make more money, and you're going to start to feel better about yourself. The more you do this, the more you experience this, the more people you talk to, the more relaxed you're going to feel, because you're going to realize, no, you didn't die. You didn't die when you walked up to somebody and said hello, though sometimes it may feel like it on the inside. Sometimes it may feel horrible and you're so nervous, and you're going to say, oh my God, they're going to know I'm nervous, I'm going to look like a fool, I'm going to look like an idiot. Don't worry about it, guys. We're all here for a short period of time. Enjoy your life, get to know people, get to meet people, make new friends, make new contacts. If this video helped you out at all, do me a favor, in the comments below, put something down there, say, hey, I like this, JR, or right on, or whatever you want to say, but let me know that you enjoyed this. Also give me a thumbs up if you don't mind on the video, and don't forget, if you haven't done so already, subscribe. My goodness, now's the time to do it. Click that subscribe button there, do that, and don't forget to ring the bell, because when you subscribe, a bell will pop up, and you need to select all notifications. That way, when I go live or I'm doing a new video, you will be notified. Thank you so much for watching this video. As a consolation prize, there's a course below. It's a $97 course. You can click and get it for free. All you got to do is click and learn, no credit card required. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.